So we're going to begin this video with the Golden State Warriors. Yes, even these guys could have some potential problems this season. It's mainly if DeMarcus Cousins is unable to walk. Now, even so, if Boogie's Achilles injury is just so drastic that he's not able to be himself, then they're still the Warriors, the team that won the championship already. However, there is also Andre Iguodala, and his injury was pretty big for them and almost losing to the Rockets, and he's getting older by the day. That could end up being something against them. We move on to their rival Houston Rockets. Now, I know they lost Trevor Ariza. I know Carmelo Anthony's not the best. I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to go with Chris Paul's health because I think they will find a way to get a wing defender who can be something for him. But if CP3 is unable to log heavy minutes in a Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, then this team simply cannot win. We go on to the New Orleans Pelicans. Who is the great player on this team besides Anthony Davis? There really isn't one. And as a result of that, AD has to shoulder a really big load with this team. Sure, Drew Holiday's a very good two-way player. Nikola Mirotic is a pretty damn good power forward and a very good fit next to AD. But when you only have one guy who can really go off, it's tough to win a whole lot of games in the NBA. Next, we look at the Portland Trail Blazers, kind of similar to the Pelicans, except in this case they have at least two really good players, CJ and Dame. But outside of these two, can Portland generate enough offense to compete with the top teams in the league? Devin Booker's also a great player. Some people would tell you that he's already better than CJ McCollum and not too far away from Damian Lillard. But I think when you go down the Suns roster after him, it's not totally built to win right now. I think a lot of that is because of the fears of DeAndre Ayton's defense. Offensively, I think he'll be a fine number 2 guy next to Booker, however. We head over to the OKC Thunder, who I think have improved this season. But the question with them, I would say, is how much outside shooting does this team really have? Outside of Paul George, Patrick Patterson is okay. Alex Abrines can hit from outside, but he's not the best defender in the world, so I don't know how many minutes he's really going to play. This team may need to make an acquisition at the deadline or even earlier than that. The Memphis Grizzlies. With this team, it's all about health to their top 2 guys, Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. When those two are in the game and healthy, these guys are good. When they are not in the game, they're not. That's pretty basic, but it is kind of the story with this team. You look at this previous season, they were both out. They were terrible. The year before that, they both played about 60-something games, and they managed to win, low 40s. If both of these two could put in a full season, I wouldn't be shocked if these guys made it to the playoffs. The Utah Jazz are a team that I've been very confident in being towards the top of the Western Conference playoffs. Quinn Snyder's system is awesome. Gobert's defense is amazing. But their weakness is, how many creators do they really have outside of Donovan Mitchell? Having a free-flowing offense is great, but sometimes you need someone who can just go get a bucket, and if you only have one guy, it can be difficult. The Los Angeles Lakers are one of the most fascinating teams going into this upcoming season because, well, of course, they added the best player of all time. A lot of people want to talk about their lack of shooting. That's not really where I'm going to go. I'm going to look at the center position. They got Zubats, who is cool. I don't have any real complaints against him. I just think he's okay. I think JaVale McGee at times has been awful. And I know they have some small ball 5 options, but you can't go to that every minute of every game. We're going to stay in the same arena with the Los Angeles Clippers. I like Lou Williams a lot. He had his best season a year ago where he put up nearly 25 points a game, leading these guys to almost making the playoffs. But Lou Williams is their best player. So, I mean, that's about all you really need to know with them. Although I do think they will be feisty. I think they're going to win maybe a few more games than their talent would really suggest, as long as they can stay healthy. The Minnesota T-Wolves, very talented, and maybe they have potential to improve defensively. My fear is that this team just implodes because they all don't like each other. Wiggins wants more shots. There's rumors that Towns doesn't like Thibodeau. Jimmy Butler doesn't like Wiggins or Towns because, well, they would rather stay up until 4 a.m. and play Fortnite than work on their pick-and-roll defense, namely with Karl Anthony Towns. The Denver Nuggets should put up a lot of points this season, and they could end up being the best offensive team in the NBA. They also have 2 of the worst defenders in the league, pictured right here, Isaiah Thomas and Nikola Jokic. That's going to be a problem. You could say that the only real defender on this team is Paul Millsap, and that's nice, but you're going to need more than that. There's going to be a lot of shootouts with the Nuggets this season. The Dallas Mavericks have themselves who I believe to be the best player in the draft in Luka Doncic, and someone who is one day going to be one of the best players in the NBA. along with a point guard in Dennis Smith, who I'm not as high on, but I'm still pretty intrigued by because of his athleticism and ability to create. And because of these two, along with some decent veterans, Rick Carlisle and DeAndre Jordan, I think the Mavs are going to be pretty damn fun. It's just a matter of they're in the Western Conference, and them's the breaks. If they were in the East, I think they could maybe be like a 45-win team, but they got their work cut out for them. The Sacramento Kings are desperate for someone who can consistently put the ball in the basket and command attention from the defense. De'Aaron Fox is good, but I think of him as more of a playmaker and athlete and defender and that sort of thing. So they are going to be relying a lot on Marvin Bagley to just score through any ways, post-ups and transition and alley-oops, pick and rolls, and all that. We head on to the San Antonio Spurs for our last team. Defensively, I think they're going to be fine, even if the personnel isn't the best. The fear with this team, while it's a talented one, is a matter of outside shooting. DeRozan's good, Aldridge is good, and these guys are great within the three-point line scorers. At what point is the lack of outside shooting so drastic that even Greg Popovich can't make it work? It's a question, and we'll have to see what happens.